What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be continuing the adventure on Anime Matsuri. I wonder what anime intro I'm going to roll this time. I don't have many, so I probably am going to have to stretch to find some. Alright, continuing where we left off. It's now Thursday morning, everybody gets up nice and early. We go out and get a breakfast at a small buffet. Didn't really know what this buffet was, we just had to walk to it. It was across the park from where we were. It was not too bad, and then it turned out that that was a hotel, which I would be spending a lot of time in, or not a lot, but a decent amount of time in later. Not just that day, but over the whole weekend. So there's a little teaser for you. After that, we were like, well, we got nothing to do today until the festival opens up. We were there because we wanted to cover the opening festival outside. They were gonna do an outside festival, so that's what we were hoping to do on Thursday. But that started at like 4 in the afternoon or something, so it was like, well, we got time to kill. So we went out to the city to explore. The plan was to go bowling the same way I did back in 2019. Not here, we were gonna wait until like Friday night and then go Friday night. But that was the plan, was to go bowling. What's up, posers and brosers? Welcome back to episode 2, day 2. It's day 2?
Day 2, morning
I was told
one.
to vlog the adventure. We're at some old spooky Scooby-Doo mall. No one's here, and we're checking it out.
Pretty cool. Might go bowling later. Pete's Piano Bar.
Hope is lost, gamers. No bowling this time. It's closed.
It's closed. Damn, you hit your knees on the ground real hard.
Oh.
It says tap to pay though, so. It just opens.
Pretty much we've done nothing so far. We woke up, got breakfast, went to some hotel for breakfast, not our hotel. It was pretty good. Now we're just kind of killing time until the convention starts to happen. Then we'll be good to go. I think we're just kind of wandering around checking things out at the moment.
Guys, it's D-Man! It's D-Man! It's D-Man! It's D-Man!
What are we watching today?
Strange Love.
Excuse me. I would like to see Try That Truth.
Kind of seems like this whole mall might be closed.
That's how it appears. That's why it's an old spooky abandoned Scooby-Doo mall.
It's still kind of like a cool little adventure though.
But we soon discovered that the whole mall the bowling alley was in, it was completely closed down. So we kind of wandered around the spooky ghost town mall. It was pretty bumming. I think we were all pretty hyped to go bowling. It's a cool mall, but the weirdest part of it is it runs through a couple streets. So if you're on the ground level, you go through a couple streets, and as we all learned, the cars there, they do not stop for you. Also, I will say this is the end of the vlogging. I just was already burnt out of vlogging on day 2. I was already like, I'll just do the reflection videos when I get back. I don't know, I just felt too awkward about vlogging in public. Maybe over the course of the years, if I keep going back out there, you'll see that I'll just get better and better and way more natural. There's already a huge progression, I think, in terms of quality from the first time I was there to now. I just know what I'm doing a little more, so I know what to do. But the vlogging section was like, all right, we did the travel vlog on day 1. Apparently, I'm not cut out for this yet. So this was pretty much the end of the vlogging. Then it was time to complete Dalton's mission. Ever since we made it to Houston, which was only a day ago, Dalton had a mission. He was set on going out to find the Maid Stadium. This is a simple enough mission, but for one reason or another, never intentional, I just kept ruining it for him. It'd be like, let's go out. And then I'd be like, oh, gotta go to the bathroom. Let's turn back. Or be like, let's go out. And I'd be like, oh, it's raining. I want to go put my camera away. I don't want it to get rained on. And then it'd be like, oh, I need new batteries or whatever. So I kept ruining it for him. We never made it to the Maid Stadium, but now was the time. We had time to kill. We were gonna finally do it. Now, when they kept saying we're gonna go see Maid, that's what Kyle and Dalton kept saying, is we're gonna see Maid. I was kind of expecting a big factory where the Maid drinks are made. I did not expect it to be a baseball stadium, and I certainly didn't expect it to be on game day while a game was being played, so it was packed. You could tell something was weird going on in the city because there was a lot of people around, and it was like there was way more people here than yesterday. They were all going to the baseball game, and we bumped into this woman. She was some older woman. She was nice enough. We were trying to help her get tickets. I think she assumed that we were about to be baseball buddies and that we were going, oh, we're gonna go to the game and we don't have tickets yet. So I think she thought we were gonna buy tickets and maybe sit with her and enjoy the game with her. Who knows? We were like, there you're going there. And then we kind of went our own way. And I think she was like heartbroken that we just abandoned her. Felt bad, but like, we were just trying to help you find the ticket booth. Needless to say, we did not spend our money on the game. Didn't know any of the teams playing, don't have money to spend. Pretty simple equation. After more wandering around in the city, we went back to the hotel and came up with a bit of a game plan. The outdoor part of the convention was supposed to open up that afternoon, and Davis, Titan Goji, go check him out on YouTube, Titan Goji, he was in town for the convention, so we were planning to get together with him at the festival. While we were waiting, I checked back into the convention hall to see how things were going. This is where I found the enormous Godzilla banner. They hung the enormous Godzilla banner back up. It was there in 2019 and it's awesome. I could not tell if it's supposed to be life size or not. It's huge, but I don't think it's life size. I think Godzilla would be much bigger, especially the Heisei Godzilla I think would be much bigger than that. But the outdoor festival was coming along nicely. We could see them putting it together. We had a really good view from our hotel, so we could see them putting it together. So we went outside to check it out as well. Just kind of walked around seeing as they were about to start setting up their ceremonies. Now, unfortunately, the weather was bad, so the ceremonies didn't happen. They got rained out, as I understand it, which is a big bummer. But some of them still happened. Some of them happened. Not all of them, though. Maybe they all did. I don't know. As far as I could tell, it was raining at the start, and then it stopped, and it was very windy, so it seemed like maybe some of them didn't happen. But at the very least, I know they did a drumming performance because I went to that, sort of. So I went back inside because things weren't happening outside yet. So this is where Kyle and Dalton and I kind of split up. Kyle and Dalton went one way, I went another, because I was like, all right, you guys go get the outside festival. I'm gonna go inside, I'm gonna get footage of the line. And I went inside to get footage of the line, and as I was walking it, there he was. There's Davis Titan Goji. He actually noticed me. I didn't notice him. He noticed me, so I ran over. I met him and his friend Cole, and it was like, cool, we're gonna hang out for the rest of the day. And then we didn't. Because right as I made it to them, the mission I had been trying to work on, my mission, not seeing Maid, my mission that I had been trying to work on all day, was finally about to be fulfilled. It got pulled away last second, right as I met Davis, by Chris, the ASL guy. Because the entire day I had been trying to get my panel questions to Kaylee. I had a list of questions that I was going to be prepared to ask her on the panel, and I didn't want to throw her off. I know that this was her first panel, and I know she's young, so I know she was going to be nervous and probably uncomfortable, and so just because I was trying to be accommodating to that, I did not want to ask her any questions at the panel. I wanted to ask her everything ahead of time so that she could prepare her answers, so that she could say, don't ask me that question, I want to talk about that stuff, basically so that she could pick what she was going to talk about on the panel. So I've been trying to get those questions to her the entire day, but it was super hard to get in touch with her or anybody in her family, so it was like, I really wasn't getting the questions to her. I had them printed out, and I was gonna be prepared to just give her them in person, be like, all right, pick your questions, and then like circle the ones you want to do or whatever. I was also gonna talk to her about doing a potential giveaway where I had bought a whole bunch of copies of Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla King of the Monsters so that her and TJ Storm could sign their movies and then give them away at the panel. As if you went to the panel, you know that that didn't happen, and we'll talk about that in the next video. I was gonna ask her about that because I had been told she was on board with it. Turns out she didn't actually know about it. I mean, I've wasted my money buying those Blu-rays because she didn't even know it was going to happen. But I tried to ask her ahead of time. So anyways, Chris comes over. He's like, hey, I'm going to see them. So then I tagged along with Chris and just by chance bumped into him. And so then we went over to her hotel, which turned out to be the hotel that I had breakfast in. Now, as I made it there, I kind of realized that I did not have any of my questions. They were in my hotel room. So I wasn't ready to like go meet her or anything, so it wasn't like I was carrying them around. So it was there where I met up with Kaylee and her whole family. They've got a big family. They've got 5 kids, and so there was a lot of people there. Now, sensing that this was not the time, you know, they're just kind of having a nice family vacation. Sensing that this was not the time, I did not bring up the panel stuff and just start bombarding her, especially because we didn't know each other. It's not like we had been talking to each other, so we didn't know each other. So I just kind of figured probably not a good idea to just immediately be like, hey, I'm gonna just bombard you with stuff about the panel. Instead, I kind of told them like, later on when you have time, I would like to discuss this with you, and so please let me know when you're ready. But it was cool now. I was like, I'm not nervous to be around her. It's okay. I can do this. I was still nervous. I just wasn't as nervous as the day before. So I just kind of hung out with them for the rest of the day without actually talking with them. This way we could at least be around each other, me and the whole family, so that we could at least get to know each other by proximity, and that way we weren't complete strangers. And so that's what I did for the rest of the day. Because Chris isn't a certified translator, we kind of agreed that I wasn't going to really talk with anybody. It was just going to be them, and then I would just kind of be there. And so the Hottles, they went over to see the ending of the outside ceremony being held. It was the big drumming ceremony, and so that's how I know they at least did that. They were doing the drumming ceremony outside of the entrance of the convention, and then the Hottles went and got boba. During the drumming performance, there was a motorcycle that went off, and it was so loud. Like, drowned out the ceremony, and so I started laughing because of how loud it was. And to my surprise, one of Kaylee's brothers, who, if you read online, it says that the whole family is deaf. One of her brothers was like, what are you laughing at? And so they're not all deaf, as it turns out. Her brothers are both hearing and speaking, which is really cool. And I did not really talk to them much at this point because it was kind of like, I kind of got the vibe that the older brother who was talking to me didn't want to talk to me. So I just kind of gave him some space and was like, all right, I'm not going to bother him. But it was kind of cool to meet him informally in that way. I had no clue that I was about to spend the rest of the convention with that kid. I'll talk more about him in later videos because he's awesome. But for now, that was our whole interaction. It was like, oh, whoa, sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you when I was laughing. He's like, oh, you're good, whatever. That was the extent of our conversation. He did ask me, I think, like, why do you have that camera? And I was like, I'm a photographer. I do videos here. I eventually took the Hottles inside so that they could see the Godzilla store being set up. And so we walked around, checked it all out. And if you're wondering, like, what was I doing while I was hanging out with them the whole day and not talking to them? It's not like I was just being some weirdo just kind of standing there with them. I was talking to someone. I was talking to Tim Bean, their manager, who, if any of you guys are G-Fest people, some of you may be aware of him. Tim is very involved in G-Fest, and he manages a lot of very famous Japanese actors in the kaiju tokusatsu community. And he also, I think, does directors and just a lot of the stars involved with classic Toho and otherwise kaiju films. So that's who I was talking to the whole time. Then the Hottles decided to go out for dinner, and now it was time for me to go get food as well. I was freed up. I did not eat lunch this day. I was too busy, I guess. But I did load up on all-you-could-eat breakfast intentionally so that I didn't have to spend money on lunch, and that plan worked. So now I was free to go get food with the boys, and that's exactly what I did. Davis, Titan, Goji, Cole, Kyle, Dalton, and I, we all went out to get dinner at, I think it's like kind of like a Mexican restaurant. It's built into the Hilton's America Houston, so it was just nice in my hotel. And it was good food too. I ate there in 2019 as well. It was good. On our walk there, we crossed a crosswalk and just so happened to walk past Matt Frank, so that was kind of cool. So now all the pieces were coming together. You know, we got Matt Frank, we got Kaylee Hoddle, we were missing TJ Storm, he wasn't in yet, but we met Davis, Titan, Goji, we had dinner with him. That was really sweet. It was really cool to have dinner and hang out with these people that I know online, and just really nice to be around people in person. After dinner, we went back into the convention hall, and walking around again, it just so happened that there we go, we met up with Matt of Monstrosity's Tokusatsu Vlog and his wife Paige.
There he is, everybody. The man whose favorite show is Gundam. What's up?
Why?
I cut the camera because I didn't want to bother him too much. I didn't want to be like that guy sticking a camera in his face, but it was really, really cool to hang out with him in person. I talk to him all the time, so actually being in person with him, really sweet. We had met at G-Fest before, same with Davis and I, but it's cool. You know, Matt and I talk a lot, so it was really cool to meet him in person. There was a whole crew of people who was supposed to show up, but basically nobody made it but Matt and his wife, so that was a bit of a bummer. But it was really cool to meet them, and we went up and we talked for a while in front of the big Godzilla banner for like, I think a couple hours, or like maybe an hour to 2-ish hours. We talked and just about whatever, and it was really cool. And then I got a call and I was like, okay, I gotta go take this, sorry. And so he went off, then I had to go take my call, and it was here where I finally got to call Kaylee's father and talk to him a bit. And so we finally got to like basically get to know each other so that he knew who I was and what I was doing. He knew about the panel, and so I filled him in on everything like that. It was here where I found out that I guess nobody ever passed along the message that I was interested in doing a giveaway with Kaylee. And so given the short notice and everything, and given the events of the next day, which I'll talk about, we just didn't do it. it. Now, if you're curious, Kaylee's father is deaf, and I don't know how to speak with sign language, so if you're wondering how we talked to each other, it was actually pretty awesome. We use an app called Sorensen. I don't know how to say that. Sorensen? Something like that. Basically, it provides an interpreter through video to enable deaf people to talk with hearing people through the phone. It's really cool. Some other helpful apps that are used within the deaf community include Purple and Convo, which Convo Kaylee actually did an ad for back in the day. So it's like, okay, finally, we got the details for the panel worked out, and I sent them the questions online so that they could pick their questions, and then it was cool. We went back to the hotel room. We were gonna like maybe play some Mario Kart and go to sleep because Dalton brought his Switch, and it was like, all right, the day's over. But no, it wasn't. I was waiting around all day as well to potentially have a meeting with Denise Lee, the chairman and founder of Anime Matsuri, and finally she was like, all right, I'm freed up. So it was like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go over and have this meeting with her guys. You guys stay here. Probably went over at like 12:30 or something. So we had a meeting. We talked about the classic panel. We talked about the legendary panel. We ensured that there would be certified interpreters at the legendary panel. There was a lot of uncertainty. As far as I understand, the interpreters that they had for the panels backed out, and so there were no interpreters, and so the question was like, what do we do? I really didn't want to have Kaylee just type her answers into like some text-to-speech and then play it through a speaker. I definitely didn't want her to type her answers and pass them to me, and then I had to read them. So it was like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? We gotta get an interpreter, but what are the backup options if we can't? So it was a lot of figuring that stuff out. So I was up till 2:30 in the morning when I finally made it back to the hotel room to go to sleep after a pretty eventful day. It's like not technically anything big got accomplished, but stuff got accomplished. We got the interpreters. Actually, Chris got the interpreters. He was working on the same problem we were at the same time as us separately. We didn't know that he was going to be working on that. So, well, Denise and I were working on, okay, what are we going to do for interpreters? Chris was also doing the same thing with John Lee, the other head of the convention. So while their team got stuff figured out, Denise and I were like, okay, here's our backup plans and everything else. So we were figuring out all the contingencies basically. So I'd say it was a pretty successful day. It was really cool to hang out with a deaf family for the whole day. And this was something that I really appreciated at the convention in general. If you guys have seen my videos and heard me talk about it, you know that I've never met a deaf person before. I've never had any interaction with the deaf community before. So it's a new world to me. It's obviously something that I'm interested in, and I'd like to learn ASL and I'd like to be able to communicate, but it's just such a different world for me. And I'm sure it is for many of you too. The thing is, it's not that different from meeting people who speak other languages. I met people who spoke only Japanese at the previous Matsuri, and it's no different from meeting them. You know, everybody's just people. We're all just people, so we're all the same. Our communication methods may be different, but we're all the same. So talking with them was basically a lot of like either having a translator interpret or typing out back and forth. Not that different from when I meet Japanese people. In fact, that's the exact same strategy that I used in 2019 to have a meeting with people from Toho. We just kind of typed out messages back and forth in Google Translate, which wasn't the most efficient method, but at least it worked. But I really liked it. I liked the quiet. I appreciated it. Outside of when I'm recording videos and doing all this stuff, I tend to like to be a much more quiet, reserved person, so it felt very nice and homey to me. I really liked it. They're also just super, super nice, inviting, welcoming people, so it was really cool to hang out with their family for the whole day, even if I wasn't talking with them or interacting with them, even if it was basically just me and Tim being talking to each other a lot of the time. It was still really nice. And of course, having dinner with Davis and then meeting up with Matt afterward, it's awesome. Davis also met up with Matt very briefly, but he had to take off earlier. All right, guys, that'll do it for this one. I want to give a huge thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon. If you want to support the Patreon, you can using the link in the description below. You can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. It also goes a really long way towards supporting the channel and making sure I can keep making these videos for you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man, out.
This place is coming out.